Hi, Moose99 here with the start of a second series with Banished and Megamod9. Now, I was going to wait for a while before I did a second series and tried basically to build off our lessons learned from the end of the last episode. But the weather's turned really nasty here. I don't have much else to do, and I'm a little bit excited to actually give it a shot. So the aim of this series is going to be to get to the 3,000 citizens we got to in the last series, but to do it without killing anybody through starvation. Now, people will die, unfortunately, due to the random accidents and stuff like that. But I'm not sure how many bannies I killed off in the last video, but it was a lot. So I'm going to do that, or have that as my objective. I'm going to, I think, pretty much stay away from nomads unless we get into a jam. I am aiming, or sorry, I should say, in the past I've been guilty of playing the same way. So finding something that works, and then every map that I do the same thing. So that's going to be a super hard habit to break, and I don't promise to do that. I'm going to use a lot of things that I've always done, but I'm going to push myself to try and do new things or different things than I've done before, explore a bit more of the Megamod. I can't remember the exact number, it's hundreds and hundreds of mods that are included in Megamod, different sets, town sets, and all kinds of different things. So I'm going to try and explore more of that as we go here, and maybe trade in, some of the same things I've traded in before, but trade in a few new things. I also found out that I had the robust pastures mod, or sorry, whatever it's called, installed in the wrong place. So in the last series it wasn't working, so I've now got it installed in the right place. So I'm going to go to pastures fairly early. I loaded a few maps just to try them here, and this is the seed that I found. Now I'm doing verdant plains again, just because I like that for growing a large town. Very large, of course. Climate is mild. Disasters this time are turned on. So last series I had the disasters off because I had some crashes, and I think that's because I was using a very old version of Megamod. So, anyways, that's the seed. That's the settings. And then if we go and have a quick look at the map here, there's 4 lakes here, big trade river that I like the trade rivers when they run fairly straight, so we'll be able to get trading docks and stuff on there. There is enough hills around for mines, so we can have a very, like a very big lake build here over on this side. So I'd like to sort of, you know, do the Borg on this lake here and basically use every square inch that I can. I didn't do Jack and Jill start this time and did a hard start. We did Jack and Jill last time. It was fun, but it can be pretty slow at the start. So my intention here is to get a few forest nodes up, and those won't look very different than we've done in the past. But I want to build a strong base, so I'm thinking somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 forest nodes before we get too fancy here. So, well, we're also gonna try the greenhouses again, but I'm gonna try very hard this series to make sure we have houses near or closer to where they need to be, rather than what I was doing last time. I had sort of clusters of houses and people were walking too far and things weren't very efficient. I'll also try and make better use of pauses here, maybe to cut out some repetitive parts and stuff like that. Okay, so we're paused right now. We have our banished folks there with our wagon. So I want to do a little bit of layout here. So I think this somewhere around here looks like a great spot. We can cover both the docks and a few forest nodes. Okay, so let's see what it looks like with, let's lay out a forest node up to the top here. Okay, so I think something like that. Yeah, no, okay, let's have a look at that. So if we do a gatherer there, we can do another market town center up here, maybe another couple of gatherers up this way. Although, you know, that might be better off. So if we did something like that, it might be better off doing something, say, over this away. Okay, so what would that look like? That. And maybe one or two down here. Alright, let's try and remember which one we liked here. If you lose it, there you go. Okay, and I think we had, did we have anything up here? Okay, now if that goes there, I think we had a bit of road going in there, so let's get rid of that. Just doing this at the start, nothing gets built, so you can, you know, lay it out and then delete it just to make sure you'll want to line things up. So I don't have an artistic bone in my body, but I lean sort of towards the other side of the brain, so I like to line things up, make sure it sort of works out. Okay, I think we used medium barns last time and that worked pretty good. Okay, 4x4 stockpile. Our forester lodge. This is your basic forest node. I'm gonna put a different hunter in. I kind of like the look of this tiny hunter. I don't know why. And I'm only gonna put 2 people in there instead of the 3, so smaller building makes me happier. Okay, I'm gonna go with log cabins, but I'm not gonna be obsessive about which model I use, so I'll just bang 6 of them in here. Now, because disasters are on, I'm going to want to have some wells around and stuff like that. So there's a biddy well here that's fairly cheap at the beginning. Maybe just pause that one. Okay, so the way, when I lay it out like this for a forest node, and it's at the beginning where you got to get everything up quickly, what I like to do here is you've got your gatherer's cabin here, and your medium barn, and your first house. So that plus a wood chopper will make sure you survive. But if you lay it out this way, then you use this log cabin, you can take these 3 off a pause and prioritize it all together without, you know, prioritizing extra things or whatever, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then what we'll do here, we'll lay out some stockpiles. So, say a 5x8. And then over here, where our banished folks are. Oops. Okay, let's try that again, but properly. Alright, so that one builds automatically. Maybe we can get away with one over here too. Okay, nope. Okay, so let's clear the interface out so we can see what the heck's going on. Okay, we need to designate, we need to hit the right button. We need to designate some trees. So the reason I'm doing over here is the folks will come back to the storage cart, at least for a short while, for food and tools and stuff. Once the stockpile builds down there, we'll do some stuff over there. Now, as far as designating stone, which we'll need, we're going to do it in the actual forest node, because one of the objectives is going to be to clear the iron ore and stone out of the forest node. Okay, let's get our interface up. So I called this town second chance, just giving me a second chance to try not to starve everybody to death, I'm going to turn off this little toggle that's resource notifications. If you do not toggle that off, it will drive you crazy. Maybe that's already happened to me, not sure. So here we go. Here's our small professions tab, which is perfectly fine at the beginning because mostly what you're worried about is builders and laborers. And I think just for a giggle, we're gonna do a temporary road. Yeah, let's just do a temporary road. Something like that, because there'll be a lot of back and forth to the storage cart in the short term. Okay, we also should get a wood chopper, and you can use any of these smaller ones in my opinion. I kind of like this one here, the tiny chopper. I'll just put it down here for now. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is get the roads built and get some of these resources collected and get these stockpiles built. Okay, so I highly recommend that you save it before you actually let it rip, just in case fatalities happen. It's a bit dicey in the beginning here, so you don't want all your good setup work to go to waste, so let's let it go. Now I intend to play on 10 so that things build fairly quickly. We'll do that as long as the CPU cycles hold out. Alright, there's a couple of our stockpiles built. Oops. I am hitting the wrong buttons this morning. Okay, the builders are working on the road, but let's get the laborers. We've got enough trees and enough stone to get started here. It's pretty important to get the gatherer and the barn up pretty quick. Okay, let's give it the priority hit here. Okay, we've only got 8 adults here, so I'm going to put, say, 3 gatherers in to start with. Okay, the barn's up. Yeah, we want this house built, actually, and the wood chopper. Okay, there's our first house. We got a gatherer, a barn. Okay, oh, our food limit here. So one thing I recommend too on the food limit, just go in here and put all 9s. You don't want a limit on your food unless you have storage issues, which I highly advise against. Okay, so to survive here, we need what we've built so far, but we also need to make tools. Now you start with 12 or so spares here, so that's okay. By the way, there's some debate on coats, but in my opinion, coats can wait until you're happy and ready to make coats. So I don't notice a lot of downside when your town is fairly small to not having coats. Okay, so we have a bunch of iron ore over here, and we're going to use that to both make tools and to build the blacksmith. So let's designate that. Okay, and then inside here we've got a bunch of iron ore there, I noticed. Okay, so what we'll do temporarily, we'll prioritize that iron ore. And we're going to come down here. And which way do we want to go out? Okay, I'm thinking... I'll put a blacksmith there. Okay, but for now, like I say, let's prioritize the actual ore gathering here. We can have a look at the stockpile here. Bump that down. Let's maybe, we only got 535 food, so let's put the fourth gatherer in. The chopper's chopping. We're still in summer. We got 40 logs. Or the chopper's actually not chopping. He's ready to chop. I think also we'll designate some logs down this way. Okay, 30 in the stockpile. Looking at the iron ores. Any over here? No. Okay, let's prioritize this little area here. Okay, that jumped up over 50, so that's definitely enough to get started. So let's get them started on the actual smithy here. Tools are going down little dribs and drabs. It's a bit of a race against time. If you're not comfortable going right to the large blacksmith, you can, there's workshops and stuff that'll build tools. I think you can even build wooden tools or tools out of log and stone, but I recommend against the log and stone. Stone is fairly precious early on and you want to save it all for building. That's why I don't actually build stone roads at the start, not until I have a robust supply of stone. Okay, just missing some stone on the old blacksmith here. So let's maybe designate some of this local stone and some more inside the forest node. Okay, we need, looks like 27 more stone, but that should be pretty quick. Firewood is good, logs are low. Well, why don't we prioritize this area here? That's log, stone, and the blacksmith. We're up to 11 adults here, so it looks like we're going to have to activate all 6 housers. Up to 6 houses here. Okay, but I'm not doing anything else until we have a tool supply. This is why sometimes it might be wiser to do the workshop route as a temporary tool source, but I don't know, I kind of like just going right to the blacksmith. It works for me. Okay, that's a building now, and we've got some logs and some stone, so actually before we do the houses, I'm a little bit, food's good, but let's do the forest node buildings, production buildings, the forest lodge and the tiny hunter before we do the rest of the houses. As long as there's one house, people can go there for food and firewood, so in the beginning, don't panic, if you only have one house or you don't have enough houses. Don't leave it too long like that or you won't grow, but certainly have a bit of time. I'm going to change the tool limit to 25 and I'm going to change this to, so you can do wooden tools if you want or stone tools. I'm just going to go with the rough tools for now. That's iron ore and log. To me, iron ore doesn't have any use other than tools, right? Whether you refine it into iron or just use it as the ore. Okay, so we'll let that guy go. Now we've got 3 and 2 here, so I'm going to go 3 builders and 2 laborers. And I'm going to prioritize the hunting lodge and the forest lodge. And I'm going to put a little bit of unnecessary roadage in. I guess we can take the biddy well off as well too. Okay, tiny hunter. Food's pretty good right now, so I'm just gonna pause that for the moment. The forest lodge, though, we will work because we want to start planting trees. Designating trees for removal doesn't last long as a viable exercise. There's the Biddy well. Now, let's pause for a second. Let's have a look at these wells here, because I'm not sure if there's a difference in your capability to fight fires with these wells. I suspect there's a radius difference, although it doesn't look like it. Well, something to look at anyways, or be aware of. Okay, there's our forest lodge. We have 7 adults. So I think I'm going to go 2 people planting, and we'll turn off cutting for the moment. Now let's just make sure we have all the ore and stone designated to get out of here, because that'll help with our tree growth and our wild food production. I'm just going to extend this road up as well too. Actually, I have to do a quick cancel removal along that new road. Okay, so let's fire the road up there. Okay, and I'll just put a 5x5 stockpile up there, no priorities. Okay. Now, what do we want to do here next? Let's just run through our... we want to build these houses. Of course, that's what we want to do. So let's build the rest of the log cabins. And then we'll have a look at our people and see what additional housing we might need. Okay, so let's let that rip. Actually, I might prioritize that just for fun. We have 200 logs, 67 stone, and a bunch of stone designated. Food's at 1450. Tools at 29. Okay, we're actually looking pretty good at this point. So let's get these houses built, have a look. Okay, I can already see there's a boy waiting to move out. Second boy waiting to move out. A third boy waiting to move out. Okay. Now some of those will go in these cabins here, so there's one there. So in the beginning, I like to move people out of the cabins as soon as they're mature, or as soon as they're working. These log cabins hold 5 people, so we want to make sure, if you want growth, you want to get the kids out as soon as they mature to leave room for, making babies. So let's run the houses here. So we have 1 boy there still left at home. 2. Okay, so we need 2 more houses. Now let's have a quick look here. We were going to put our... Okay, again with the cancel removal. Okay, so I'll usually want to go salt box houses, and I'm going to stick with that for the moment. So salt box houses need stone and lumber. Now I'm going to go in here. Now to build a sawmill takes a lot of logs at the beginning. But there's something... We used these lumber cutters last time, but... Let's see if there's anything else here. Tiny lumber. I don't think we've used that before. Okay, I'm going to put you... Oops, not right exactly there. Because I want a road around this. Okay, now to find that again, which is sometimes a trick. Tiny lumber, okay. Let's put that right there. So let's give that a priority and get that built. It's only 6 logs. So I think our sequence of events here is get these 2 additional houses built and then get a school in. So while that's going on, I'm going to use these 1-room schoolhouses again. I know I said I tried new stuff, but these things work so well because of their upgraded, or the capabilities to upgrade them. So I'm going to put that in there. We'll just pause that for the moment. Okay, we're going to up our builders to 4. Food is down to 528. So actually I'm going to take 2 builders out. And let's get the hunter going. We'll have to watch that. We're going to have to get our second node in pretty quick here, so. Food's a little lower than I like it at this point in the game here. So let's turn our lumber. How many people can work here? 2. Oh, interesting. Alright, and set our construction limit initially to say 200. That's more than enough to get the school and the houses up. But we also want to think about, and we might as well sort of rough this in now. Where do we want this? Probably that side. Okay, so the trading rivers here, this is going to become our main trading town and a hub for our, or at least some of our forest nodes. And then expansion, I think the next step would be over into the lake. Okay, so let's get this built. Or it is built, duh. Okay, now let's maybe prioritize these 2 houses. So I think when we get the houses up and the school, let's we'll maybe lay out our next forest node and then call that an episode. Not much different than last time, but I just want to get a sound foundation here. And once we have a good base of food and log supply, then I think maybe we'll want to do maybe some greenhouses or something and expand over leftward. And we also might want to get a seeds trader and an industry trader going there as well too. Okay, come on, build the houses. Okay, somebody else turned into a laborer. Okay, happy couple moving in. Let's get the other one, guys. Wow, that's already done 200 lumber? What? I'm pretty amazed by that speed. Oh, wait, in that case we can turn on the school here too. Prioritize the house. Food's up to 879 with the hunter. I'd still like that to be much higher than that, so. My objective is not to kill people via starvation. I don't want to start that way, so. Okay, I'm just going to pause here while this stuff builds. Alright, so our hospitals built, our houses built. I also popped in a little mini hospital over here and turned it off. Disasters are on, so it's probably good to be prepared. So let's just have a look through our houses here. Okay, there's a girl ready to move out. Okay, I've activated the school, so there's a teacher in there. Okay, so we have one more person that could move out. Always a good idea. So let's look at another forest node. So I think the thing to do here is come off of this side. Okay, so something like that. And starting from, I always start from the gather. Don't know why, but it's the way I do it. Okay, and medium barn will be there. Now, I don't know if I can prove it, but I think the barn should be within the catchment radius of the market, or there won't be stuff picked up out of there. I don't know if that's entirely true, but it's my operating assumption. Okay, there's our 4x4. Let's prioritize that. Okay, quickly bang this in. Okay, where was that tiny hunter? The reason we're doing this next is I'm worried about food, so... Okay, we're going to pause all these log cabins, except for one. So when you start building in an area that's, excuse me, remote from your rest of your people, what you want to build is you want to build a stockpile pretty quickly and a house. Okay, so even if, the people in the house have to walk a fair ways in the market to start with, what this does is lets laborers and builders work in this area without starving to death or dying from exposure. So if you remember at the very start, one house was enough to get us going, so people dip into other people's houses. They only do that if they don't have a house, by the way. But that'll help expand here. So lay the whole thing out. And if we prioritize, that gets the house and the two stockpiles. And it also makes it easier for the builders to build the road if there's a close stockpile that they can, remove the rocks and trees off of the path. Okay, so let's get that going. And then I think I'm going to have a look around and mull over next steps. So I'm just going to pause for a little bit here. Okay, so the barn and the gatherer's hut I've built here now. Normally when I'm starting a new forest node, the first workers I would have, I would put them on the forest lodge to get the trees growing. But our food is at 469 here. So I think what we'll do with this new gatherer's hut is we'll put one person in there because we only have one person available. There's the builder that was there. That'll convert to a gatherer, so we'll just go one on that, so to help with the food situation gets a bit dicey. So let's have a look here where we're at for population. So 6 and 7 year olds, a few more babies. Alright, so with this strategy here of building the school this early, that means we're probably going to have quite a few years of not growing the population. So, and then we'll get a rush of these 6 and 7 year olds graduating, so to speak. So by pre-building this area down here, and I think I'm going to take it off pause, even though the one person down here will be doing gathering, I hope. But if you pre-build the gatherer's lodge, the hunting lodge, and the forest lodge, so when this influx of people, graduates is a term I'm using, but when they become of age, suddenly you'll need a whole bunch of houses and you'll need a bunch of food. Because the other problem with this, or the other challenge with this strategy of starting with this early school, is that you have a lot of kids that are eating food but not being able to produce it. So it's a little dicey in the beginning. Okay, so I think next we'll end her here and just talk about next steps. So the layout that we want here is to go to the east here or rightward and get our trading community established, and go left over here. So the other thing is we probably want to start thinking about a third forest node. So there's not really a ton of room for that. So, and we probably want to use this area, to the west towards the lake here as sort of a, industrial area. We want to do our greenhouses. We want to do some coats. We want to do, all that fun kind of stuff. So what I might think about doing, I have not done this before, but there's a mini gatherer, and we've already used the mini hunter. And I think there's a dense forest node that produces a lot of logs. So I think what I might do is think about laying out over here kind of a mini forest node and consider that as temporary until we get things like trade ports and seeds and stuff going. So I think that would be a good next step. So I think mostly it's going to be waiting for everybody to graduate. So what we'll probably do the next episode is do a quick intro, pause it until everybody graduates, and then pick it up from there. So anyways, any feedback or suggestions would be quite welcome. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited to push myself out of my comfort zone on some of these things, which I haven't really done so far, but I'm just doing the base here. But I want to try new things as much as possible while relying on tried and true things so I don't kill everybody off. Anyways, this is Megamod9 and this is episode 1 of series 2 with Banished and Megamod9. Thank you.